So good evening, guys. Trust you all doing great, and I believe we all had a wonderful weekend. So I welcome you guys to our weekly analysis where we get to, share minds together or rub minds together on what we are expecting in the coming week, on what we are expecting in the coming week. So last week on gold was really doing an amazing job last week. All right, let's just take a quick review on our gold trade last week and see how it played out last week. Okay. So previously 2 weeks ago, I was expecting price to drop into this weekly fair value gap, which actually happened. Price dropped into this fair value gap, and that was when we caught our first buys on gold. That was where we got our first buys on gold. Then on Friday again, we have price displacing above this breaker block here. Displacing above this breaker block here, coming back to test it. This is where we got our second buy on gold. So dropping down to the 1 hour time frame, let me tell you guys what I saw on 1 hour time frame. That gave me the confidence to, okay, yes, because I've seen this pattern play out in the chart for over a long time. So that gave me that confidence that, yes, this is going to go to our direction because, it's a repetitive pattern. Okay. So I don't know, network is kind of bad. Mm, why, network. It's actually raining. So, okay, good. So um, on Friday, we have price tapping into this daily fair value gap and price is placing breaking structure. One thing about me is I always keep you guys updated on whatever I'm expecting from the market. So that Friday, I think either on Thursday, I told you guys I'm expecting price to break above this high. I'm expecting price to break above this high. That for me, no trade until I see price breaking above this high. So now this happened on Friday. Price broke above this high. This is my first entry. The first drop into this internal range liquidity, that was where I took my first entry. And I think that was when I sent out the first buys. So coming down here on 5 minutes time frame, coming down here on 5 minutes time frame, I have this breakout block here, and price came back to this is where I took my two last entries. I opened three positions. This is where I took my two last entries. And if you check the Telegram group, I said 5 minutes entry, modify stop loss too. So we now use the stop loss of 5 minutes. This was my first stop loss for when I entered with the 1 hour, the initial stop loss I gave you guys. Then when I now got this 5 minutes entry, I said 5 minutes entry, modify your stop loss to this. So we can clearly see that gold actually did how many pips on Friday? Gold did 350 pips on Friday. 350 pips on Friday before I told you guys to you can close now. All right, although I'm still holding one position, but I'm not really giving in that position because I actually modified the stop loss, very big. So I might be lucky if price opens in the next couple of hours and I see a gap to the upside. Like I may be actually lucky, but let's just see how it plays out. Okay. So starting from the dollar index. Starting from dollar index, let's go over to the weekly time frame on dollar index. I'm trying to move this camera. Please, if you're just joining the call, kindly mute. I'm trying to move this. Okay. Okay. So looking at the DXY, looking at the DXY from the weekly time frame, okay, it's very, very obvious from the weekly time frame that dollar is very, very weak. Dollar is very, very weak. So last week during our weekly analysis, I talked about this last week, and this is how it played out. Okay. Now,
My teacher, your voice is down. Sorry. Good evening from here.
all right. Good evening. So, okay. I'll try and be a bit audible. All right. So here you can clearly see that price took out external range liquidity here. And if you have been following my analysis more often, we know that I will always look out for two things in the market. Price moving from external range liquidity to internal range liquidity, or from internal range liquidity to external range liquidity. Now, price took out this external range liquidity here, coming back for internal range liquidity. That is where the massive dump started. So dropping down on the 4 hour time frame, let's see what we're going to get from the 4 hour time frame. Now here on dollar index on 4 hour time frame, we can clearly see that we have a fresh external range liquidity here. We have a fresh external range liquidity here. So going back to the weekly time frame, this is where price is coming for. This is where price is coming to. Because price moves where there is money. And where can you find money in the market? At the stops. And where can we find our stops? Either at the swing high or at the swing low. So we have a whole lot of liquidity resting below here. I mark this external range liquidity. External range liquidity. So dropping back to the 4 hour time frame, let's see. Now looking at the 4 hour time frame here, the order flow here is bearish. We don't need any magician. We don't need like it's very, very clear. The order flow here is bearish. And from my left, you can clearly see that we have a bullish order flow. We have a bullish order flow, right? So from the left, we have a bearish order flow. We have a bearish order flow. Okay. Now coming to the daily time frame. I don't really keep tabs on DXY. Once I've seen the weekly movements, I don't really keep tabs on DXY. But on Friday, I saw something on Friday before this sale started. In the price reacting to daily fair value gap, just like what gold did. So here on Friday, so we can clearly see that DXY reacted to the daily fair value gap. So we'll continue seeing this bearish movement until we take out this external range liquidity. Now we are going to make use of the 4 hour time frame for what? To get our reaction. All right, because the reaction is already done the 4 hour time frame. Okay, I will go to the 4 hour time frame and explain. Now, um, if you remember my time frame alignments, I always teach you guys that my time frame alignment. If I'm looking at the monthly time frame as my general bias, my bigger higher time frame bias. Let me say this. Okay. If I'm looking at the higher time frame, if I'm using the monthly time frame as my higher time frame, okay. Now the next time frame I'm looking at is the daily time frame. What do I want to see in the daily time frame? I want to see a reaction. I want to see a reaction from the daily time frame, reaction that will call change of character to the upside or change of character to the downside, depending on the trend of the market. All right. So if I'm making use of the weekly time frame as my bigger picture, I would like to see a reaction from the 4 hour time frame. A reaction from the 4 hour time frame. So if I'm looking at the daily time frame, I would like to see a reaction on the 1 hour time frame. So for this DXY now here, we made use of the weekly fair value gap, okay? So I'm dropping down to the 4 hour time frame. I'm dropping down to the 4 hour time frame. So now here on 4 hour time frame, we clearly see that price have taken out our external range liquidity. You can clearly see that price took out our external range liquidity here. Why is this coming up? Okay. Took out our external range liquidity here. All right. So where am I expecting price to come back? Now, pay attention to these guys. I'm not expecting price to come all the way up into this range again. Why? Because we have a BAG here and price have already rebalanced this. So I'm not expecting price to come back into this gap again. Anything that makes price come back to this place will definitely take out this external range liquidity over here, this swing high here. So now dropping on the daily time frame, I'm expecting price to play the daily order block. I'm expecting price to play the daily order block. And where is my daily order block? I have my daily order block here. I have my daily order block here. So what I'm expecting to see if price opens in the next couple of hours now, price dropping into this block to continue our down movement on dollar index until we take out this external range liquidity here. So this is what I'm expecting to see on dollar index. From what we are seeing from the chart, is clearly very, very obvious that dollar is weak. It's very obvious that dollar is weak. Okay, so let's move over to XAUUSD, which is our best pair. XAUUSD. Okay, I don't want to use that one I have stops on. There is something I want to take note there. So I'm going to bring out a fresh chart on gold. Okay. Okay. So from the weekly time frame on gold, go back to all our analysis. It's there. Now, price reacting off this weekly fair value gap. You guys know when we are waiting for price to get into this weekly fair value gap. When I said no price reacting to any internal range liquidity, no trade. If you guys could remember. So our wait actually paid off, right? Our waiting actually paid off. Now price closing strongly above our weekly fair value gap, which is our weekly internal range liquidity. Now I'm expecting price, I'm expecting price to come take out this external range liquidity here, this swing high, right? This is a very fresh external range liquidity, and also to come for this. Last week, last week Sunday, I tweeted something. I'm expecting price to come, take out, to give us an all-time high again. I'm expecting price to come to 3,500. Someone was doubting me, but I said no problem. We just have to see how that plays out. And from what we are seeing here, it's very, very obvious that price is going for 3.4 first before going to 3.5. Okay. So now dropping to the 4 hour time frame. Let's see what we're going to get from the 4 hour time frame before I go back to the daily time frame. Now, if you look at this chart and look at the chart of and look at that of DXY, it's kind of the same thing. Let me open up DXY chart. Now, this is DXY chart for our time frame, yeah? And this is gold chart for our time frame. The same thing. Okay. which means gold, DXY and gold is inversely correlated. Okay, so now I have this external range liquid 4-hour external range liquidity being taken out. 4-hour external range liquidity being taken out. Do we have any form of internal range liquidity here? No, except this one. Except this. Our 4-hour fair value gap. All right. So coming back to the daily time frame of gold. Coming back to the daily time frame of gold. Now gold might actually want to react with this daily order block here, which aligns with the 4-hour fair value gap. Which aligns to the 4-hour fair value gap. You see, which aligns to the 4-hour fair value gap. So I'm still bullish on gold, very, very, very much bullish on gold. Very, very bullish on gold, waiting for price to come take out this external range liquidity here. Now, I'm also expecting price to inverse this internal range here. I'm expecting price to inverse this internal range here. So I'll be expecting two things on gold. By tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow, if price should keep going up, right? If price should keep going up and close above this inversion here, then I'm not expecting price to come down into this 4-hour fair value gap or this daily order block. I'm not expecting price because the distance from here to here is very, very tiny. So I'm not expecting market makers to come all the way down before going to the money because the money is very close to them. Because the money is very, very close to them. So I'm not expecting them to drop all the way down to 4-hour fair value gap. That is if this daily gap here is inverse. If by Monday night, price closes above this. If by Monday night, price closes above this, then we now have a new support, which is the inversion. The inversion is going to serve as support to push price up into this external range liquidity here. This is our external range liquidity here. So going into this week, I'm very, very bullish on gold. Very, very bullish on gold. From what we've seen technically, very, very bullish on gold. So let's quickly take a look at Euro USD before we go over. Yeah, I left oil. I told you guys I was following oil, US oil. Yeah, I think that was either last week or last 2 weeks. I told you guys I was following US oil. I left US oil. I left you. Nothing happened. Nothing happened, but two of my setup on US oil didn't really go well. So, and I don't need that kind of stress. I don't need that kind of stress. Start back testing what went. I don't need that kind of stress. So, I'm just for now. I'm focusing on gold. All right. For now, I'm focusing on gold. So I just left US oil like that. So let's quickly take a look at Euro USD and see what we are expecting on Euro USD. For those who are willing to trade Euro USD, I stopped trading Euro USD a very long time ago. So let's check Euro USD. Okay, slow guys. So it's starting from the weekly. The month is very fresh. The month haven't closed yet. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Like very, very, very interesting. Looking at Euro USD structure, you know that you don't need anybody to tell you that Euro USD is bullish. Like you don't need a magician to tell you that. Okay, because from here, price have been respecting our internal range liquidity. From here, clearly see was respected, right? And here respected. So price is definitely coming for this external range liquidity here. Price is definitely coming for this external range liquidity here. Euro USD, easy and clean. Easy and clean. See, when you understand the power of higher time frame, like when you understand the power of higher time frame, then it's less stress for you. Less stress for you. Imagine coming to the weekly time frame, seeing that the weekly time frame is very, very bullish. You don't need to trade against the trend. No. You trade the trend is your friend. That's our adage. The trend is your friend. So you trade alongside the higher time frame trend. On Euro USD now, the higher time frame is bullish. So I don't need to start looking for small retracements to trade. No, most of the times, retracements it won't retrace to the level you thought it's going to. Before you know it, you're either taking out from BE or you're taking out from hit straight stop loss. So here, expecting EU to come for this external range liquidity here. All right. Time frame alignment, weekly time frame, we're moving down to the 4-hour time frame. So here on 4-hour time frame, right? We have this external range here being taken out. We have this external range here being taken out, right? And where did that movement start? The movement started from here. Very easy, internal to external. If you understand this concept, it's very, very easy. It's very, very easy. Like this, I call this the cheat code. I call this the cheat code from internal range to external, internal to external, internal to external. These two things change the whole game for me. If you're able to understand this, it will change the whole game. But you don't need to start looking for any other thing. Like, is price in my internal range liquidity? If price is in my internal range liquidity, okay, what's the direction? What's the trend? Is it bullish or is it bearish? If it's bullish, then I'm buying along them. If it's bearish, I'm selling along them. Okay, so here we have 4 hours being filled out. Okay, so let's take a look at the daily time frame. Let's see what the daily time frame is going to give us. All right, so just like DXY, gold, this has the same structure with gold, while EU and gold has an inverse structure with DXY. Okay, so I'm expecting EU to drop into this other block here. I'm expecting EU to drop into this other block here to continue the bullish movement for us to take out this external range liquidity here. So going into this week, bearish dollar, bullish euro, bullish gold. This is what I'm expecting on this space in this coming week. And I still have a position running on gold. I still have a position running on gold. I'm hoping that the opening gap will be in my favor. Like I'm really, really hoping the opening gap will be in my favor. No, the trade just like let it do what it did last week. From the opening immediately start buying. All right, because I where my TP is, I'm really, really expecting something. So let's quickly take a look at the fundamentals and see the news we're expecting this week on the dollar pairs, high impact news on the dollar pairs. So today, which is 25th, there is no news. Tomorrow, 26th, no news. Tuesday, 27th, no news. You might actually see a slow start of the week because Monday, Tuesday, there is no news Monday, Tuesday. And we all know that red folders is what engineers liquidity in the market. All right. So on Wednesday, we have FOMC by 7 p.m. That's a very, very strong news. Jerome Powell will be speaking. And on Thursday, 1:30, we have unemployment and prelim GDP. 8 p.m. for GBP. If you're trading pounds, the governor of Bank of England will be speaking by 8 p.m. Then on Friday all day, we have German prelims CPI, that's for euro. And 1:30, we have core PCE price index. So we can clearly see that from Wednesday to Friday, we have a whole lot of high impact news. So if you're going into this week, trade carefully. All right. Trade carefully if you're going into this week. And yes, just to remind you guys before I go into questions, that our first class for the beginners are starting tomorrow. So if you're interested in this class to have a very strong foundation for your forex journey, just hit me up after this weekly analysis. All right. So it's time for question now. If you have any question regarding these pairs we talked about, kindly ask your questions. The floor is open for everyone. Do we have any question? Okay, I see a chat message. Oh, is my network? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you, boss.
All right. All right.
Can hear you.
All right.
Yes. Can you check Nasdaq?
Nasdaq. Okay. Been really quite long. I looked at Nasdaq, but let's go over to Nas 100. I've deleted all those things.
Sorry, I couldn't follow the class. I was having a family meeting. So I believe you upload the videos.
Lucky, are you talking to me?
Yes, boss.
Okay. I think I have three people talking at the same time and I didn't really get everything. Lucky, you were saying something.
I said you should check Nasdaq and the video. I said the class, I believe the video was recorded.
Which of the class? The beginners class?
This no, the review we just did now.
Yeah, I'm
Top
recording.
the analysis.
I'm recording the session.
And I said I would like to get the video later on YouTube.
All right, no problem. Yeah, once I upload to YouTube, I'll drop the link.
Okay.
Yeah, for life, you were saying something before.
I said, why do you stop trading EURUSD?
Why I stopped trading Euro USD? Okay, let me just now as of November, December, October, November, December. What my colleagues were calling me in the office then was King of Euro USD. King of Euro USD. That's what my colleagues were calling me then, King of Euro USD. So something happened, I felt like I'm now the king of the market. I stopped doing my proper analysis. I just feel like, ego came in, pride came in, and before I could know what's happening, bro, I lost a whole lot of money because of that ego. I won't lie to you. I lost a whole lot of money because of that ego. So, and again, then I was already backtesting gold in my strategy. Then I was already backtesting gold, and the the review I'm getting from gold from my backtest in gold is really 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 interesting. Okay, really really interesting. I found out that gold was reacting to two things: fair value gaps and breakup blocks. All right. While EU, after my analysis, EU keep frustrating me. EU keep frustrating me. At that point, EU started ranging, no clear movement. EU started ranging. So with all these things, I just deleted it from my watch list. So now the bone of contention here is pride came in. Pride came in. I started feeling like I'm the king of the market. I'm on top of the world. That I cannot go through a losing streak again. But before I know what's happening, it struck me real, real hard. Like it struck me real hard. Okay. So that is it. That's the reason why I stopped trading EU. And now I've already fallen in love with gold. I fell in love with gold. Gold gives, like cool cash. That's why I'm really, really sticking on gold. All right. So I hope I've answered your question for life. So
Yeah, thank you.
you're welcome. Obi, you were saying something before. Okay, Lucky, this is DXY. I've already seen what I want to see on DXY, but let me check the weekly time frame first. Okay, let's see the all right. Points. So from the daily time frame, yeah, it's very, very clear. It's very, very clear. All right. I'm expecting price to react in this daily fair value gap here, which has already happened. Daily fair value gap, which has already happened. So dropping down to the 1 hour time frame, let's see what we're going to get from the 1 hour time frame. Now here on 1 hour time frame is not quite clear. All right. 1 hour time frame for me is not clear. No change of reaction. So we still have to wait to get a change in reaction here on 1 hour time frame to decide if they truly want to keep taking price up or if they want to do otherwise. Okay. Because as it stands now,
Okay.
yeah, as it stands now, this 1 hour gap is still looking valid. It's still
Okay.
looking valid. Yeah, so we just have to wait for them to give us a reaction on 1 hour time frame. Then we know if we are bullish or we still want to continue with the bearish order flow.
Okay.
Yeah. So do you have any other question?
Yes, my teacher. I need to stress you a bit. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Ask your question, sir.
Okay, actually, it's not really a question because I'm making a request. You know, as you are a king of EU
That
USD,
was that
I
was
would
there.
like
That
you
was
to.
there.
Okay, I would like you, as a Japan man, at least I need to know a little bit about the USD JPY. I don't know if you have the time or some other time, please. That's,
Japanese yen.
yeah, JPY. If the time is there.
Let's quickly take a look at USD.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So USD move all joint. So here from the weekly time frame, okay, from the order flow we are seeing here, we're expecting price to come for this external range liquidity here. After price have played this weekly fair value gap. So dropping to the 4 hour time frame, let's see in continuation of the trend. Now here on 4 hour time frame, being taken out, and we have this fresh 4 hour fair value gap. So from the technical analysis we are seeing here, USJPY is going to be bearish. It's going to be bearish. Price reversing back into this 4 hour fair value gap to continue dumping. This is what I'm expecting, sir.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So in the absence of no other question, or do we have, okay, let me take one last question before we go. Okay. So in the absence of no other question,